Hey YouTube, welcome back to my channel. As always, if you have not already, please subscribe to my channel. For those of you that are new to my channel, welcome. I am coming to you today with a video regarding the infamous Jaclyn Hill palette by Morphe and Jaclyn Hill. And today's video is going to be solely to discuss what is going on with the changes within Morphe. And most of all, the change regarding this palette. Now, the reason I wanted to bring a little attention to this topic was, for one, it just started trending yesterday. I just found out about what was going on in terms of the changes with this particular palette. I did become aware a few days ago, or maybe a week or so, when they came out with the most recent palette they have, that they were going to be changing their packaging. So I definitely was aware of that. However, regarding this palette that we were talking about today, I just found out yesterday that they are going to make a change to not the actual palette colors, nothing like that, but the actual outer packaging, as well as this bad boy here. The original box, which I still have, is also going to change. Now, I want to talk about this because, for one, as a customer, and two, just for the cost of what this palette cost all of us that bought it, without a mirror, by the way. The fact that they're making a change in terms of so it can be better to clean and not be so, yeah, easy to stain, because definitely my palette has gotten a lot of eyeshadow dust and stuff all over it, and I've definitely tried to clean it as best as I can, and it just really wasn't that simple. I will show you what the inside looks like in just a minute. The inside is not much better, but anyways, so the whole thing is, I found out yesterday through a YouTuber, and I believe it's Here for the Tea. I'm going to go ahead and link below her channel and a video. Actually, I'll link below the video so that you can click on it and see exactly what I'm talking about. She literally just gives you the facts and just gives it straight to you. And there's just no denying. Now, after I caught wind of what was going on with this palette and the changes that were being made, I went on to Snapchat and seen that Jaclyn Hill, once again, always at the center of some kind of controversy, was just chatting away on Snapchat and addressing all the issues regarding the change on the palette. And in my eyes, I felt that she was giving 101 excuses. Now, we're going to go over those excuses in just a minute. The thing is that she took to Twitter to mention the change with the palette and the packaging of this being changed to a glossy finish, so that it is easier to clean, and that you can just take a wipe and you could just, clean it off, and it's a lot easier, so you don't have to deal with the palette obviously being dirty. With it being a white packaging, obviously everyone knew that. It was shocking that it was a white packaging, but even more so that, everyone kind of knew it was probably going to get really dirty, and that's exactly what happened. So she took to Twitter to make the announcement that, the change with the palette, in which she's calling a revamp, and the fact that Morphe is now going to be sold in Ulta stores. As I know, it's about 300 stores they're starting off in, and then a year from now that's going to obviously change. So for right now, they're starting off within 300 stores. And of course, this palette is going to be sold in Ulta. So she made this announcement, and of course, she's so happy and giddy and excited. And then you get one of her buyers, one of her customers from her, infamous palette, who just basically tweeted, like, I just bought my Jaclyn Hill palette from, and I want to say she got it from I think it's called Beauty Bay, I'm not sure, but she basically tweeted that she just bought this palette And, you know, she spent her hard-earned money, and had she known that the packaging, that this was going to be all changed, then she would have obviously waited. She felt really like cheated and bummed out. And Jaclyn just basically took to reply to her and just say, like, you know, obviously, like, everything is the same, nothing's different. It's just that they're changing this, and that, you know, in finding out that, you know, after releasing this palette, you know, obviously what changes could be made to improve it. That's where I have a problem. And that's where I think a lot of people have a problem if they're following this story right now throughout YouTube and social media. Now, you worked on this palette, you claim, with Morphe for about 2 years, in which it was perfect. You finally got everything the way you wanted it. It was perfect. It was ready to be released to your subscribers and your fans and everybody that got you to where you are today. Now, clearly the palette packaging was not perfect, because if it was all perfect, you wouldn't be making this change only months after you originally released this palette. So that's where, like, the problem comes in. And not to mention, she says, of course, all the colors, nothing's formula is not changing. Okay, fine. So this bad boy right here, with the pictures on the back, if you can see, are not going to be the same. That is changing as well. Now, I know a lot of you are probably like, oh, so what? Who cares? Not a big deal. You're right. It's not really a big deal. But it's like, if you were going to take 2 years to come out with this palette, and it was supposed to be perfect, you didn't want it to be released to your fans until it was absolutely perfect and everything was what it should be, then why didn't you go with a glossy finish before you launched this palette? And why would you wait now? I feel like it's just, like, seriously, on her behalf, I feel like she's making excuses, and what she's using as, you know, her way of, how do you say, like what her cushion is to lean back on, I feel like right now, is the fact that Morphe's already taken liberty to change their packaging. Moving forward, they're actually revamping and coming out with their new packaging, which a lot of you have already seen with the new palette. So I feel like she's using that as an excuse to say, well, hey, you know, I didn't, you know, make this decision. But at the same time, you did just say on Twitter that you kind of figured out what wasn't working and what could be better for this palette, considering that it's white and it does obviously get dirty really easily. So clearly you had some say in that. So after all of that broke, and she obviously got some backlash from people that were highly upset and were on Twitter and saying things, she takes to her Snapchat to start saying how she had no idea this was going to happen, and, you know, she was not included in the decision, and Morphe, what are you talking about? This is your palette. You worked on this palette for 2 years. You had everything to do with it. You had every say-so in the process of this palette, this packaging, everything. So for you to just say now, after the palette has already been launched and millions of palettes have already been sold across the world, to say, well, I don't have anything to do with any of the decisions surrounding this palette anymore, because, you know, Morphe's doing the changes and it was all on them. And no, that's not going to work. That's not going to slide for me. My issue is, stop being a liar. I feel like you are such a liar. You need to be honest and stop bullshitting your fans, your subscribers, your customers, like all these people that got you to where you are right now. Now, she's like, do you guys honestly think that I would, you know, just to try to make a, you know, $1, try to make some money, that I would seriously, like, just do the, yes, clearly, yes, I do. I'm not happy with this because, like I said, and I'm going to open up the palette. I mean, clearly, it's, you can see how dirty it gets. It is. I love this palette, but yeah, the whole white and no mirror and, you know, the cost of, what is $38. And then this launched in, what, June? And now we're like in October. And, oh, they're revamping the packaging, but it's all the same. But the pictures on the back of the package is going to be completely different. It's actually going to be from a photo shoot that we did. Girl, bye. So I just want your thoughts on this issue. I want you to please go ahead and look at the facts. I want you to click on the link below on Here for the Tea. And I want you to check out her video and all the things that she points out in the video. And I'm wondering if the Twitter, no, not the Twitter, the Snapchat from yesterday, which yesterday was Monday. And I'm wondering now if someone got those snaps and actually leaked them out to YouTube and they're floating around, because if they are, I would love for you to see her go on a rant and try to clean up the fact that she had nothing to do with the change on the revamping of the package and she didn't have any knowledge and she's just so innocent. And then she jumps in to try to go back to a touchy subject, if you all remember a while back, which I did do a video on that, and I'll also link that down below, regarding Miss Kathleen Lights. She jumps into another rant and starts talking about, do you really think that I would, you know, purposely, like, you know, throw somebody under the bus? And I mean, knowing the backlash I would receive from that, do you guys really think I would do it? Girls, stop. That subject obviously has been done and over with. Everybody has moved on from that. Clearly, we all know Kathleen Lights never came out on YouTube and actually issued an apology. She took the coward's way out to just tweet and do what I consider to be a cheap little, I think it was a Snapchat. I don't know. It was during the time that all those things were going on with the hurricane. So I guess, you know, it just passed and everybody forgot about it. Point is, Jaclyn Hill brought it up again in her Snapchat rant yesterday. So I think you guys would definitely get a kick out of seeing that. But I am bothered by this just for the simple fact that you sold everybody on how perfect this palette was going to be. And it was made for your fans. And clearly there was some issues, and you trying to tell people now on Twitter that, you know, well, we learn, you know, you come out with something and you learn from it. No, this is not a learning moment. You had 2 years to go ahead and come up with a glossy packaging, which you didn't. And if you look at the video that I'm talking about down below, I really believe what she says. I think it comes down to her not wanting to spend the money at that time to, you know, upgrade the packaging. And so therefore they took the cheap way out and they got this cheap packaging that gets all dirty and stained up and it's harder to clean. And that's another thing she says in her Snapchat rant. Oh, you could just take a wipe and just clean this off. It's no big deal. Well, clearly it was a big deal, girl, because you had everybody, you know, make changes. You had everybody, you know, convinced that, you know, the new palette is going to be easier to clean and this, that, and the other. So, I mean, stop. Just stop. If you just cannot get your life together, the one thing you need to do is just stop lying to people, because they are going to call you out on it. And there's just no way around it. I'm not buying the fact that you're saying you didn't have any knowledge of the changes, because I think that's such bull. So comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this, how you feel. Do you care? Do you not care? I'm just curious to know what everybody thinks. Also, give this video a thumbs up. If you like it, that's great. And please check out the link below regarding the Kathleen Lights video I was talking about, in case you haven't already seen that, along with the Here for the Tea, so that you can get the latest scoop on what's going on with this Morphe Jaclyn Hill change and the whole Ulta thing, okay? Have a good night, y'all, and don't forget to subscribe.